Episode 3 of SRFitness podcast with Kieran Colbert. Thanks for joining me, buddy.
Thanks for having me, mate.
You're welcome. You're welcome. This is going to be an interesting one, I think, because I follow you quite well, and I think you speak really highly of you, your clients, and you just speak well about. You give a lot of free information out, which some people might not do, but I think you reap the rewards from it, which I think is really beneficial. So I just want to kind of get your story, really, and I know there's a lot to tell, so we'll try to cram it into a short period of time. But how did it all kind of come about, this journey you're on?
Well, to be honest with you, mate, it's something that I've always, for a very long time, had as an interest. There were certain stages in my life where I didn't necessarily think that interest would turn into a career. But I would say it started the desire to want to get into the fitness industry very, very young. I would have I remember the first time I was training, I would have a men's health, like the men's health magazines you'd get, and you'd have the little 5 sets of dumbbell row, 5 sets of lateral raises. I had this little men's health set of dumbbells that my mum bought me for Christmas, and I was like 16, 17.
They're the best ones. And I've still got mine.
Still got yours?
My little 3 kilo dumbbells.
Oh, wow. No, I got rid of mine a long time ago. But they were like the 3, the 4 and the 5 kilos. Yeah. And I remember my mates, my circle at the time, a group of mates, they would come over and take the piss out of me because they were so light. They'd be like, oh, I'm trying to lift them, But I was just a small guy, I just wanted to put some muscle on. And this was all the way through my teenage years, but I never really committed to it. It wasn't until I was 19 that I actually properly started training. I say properly started training, it was in the garage. We was training in my mate's shed. He had a little setup. We'd go train there on my split shifts. I was a chef at the time. And I was chefing for a few years, and that was ultimately what I thought I wanted to do from the early stages. And it wasn't until I actually came out of that, because it just wasn't right for me, that I realized actually this is what I want to get into as a career instead of a hobby.
Definitely. That's quite interesting, actually. So you come from a chef background. So I actually saw your Valentine's meal. That looked pucker. I thought you'd ordered it in, mate, but you cooked that yourself. You must have.
Yeah. I get more comments on my food than I do information about bodybuilding and training. Everyone's like, oh, man. Everyone's
that must be really interesting. We'll probably dive into that a little bit later, but that kind of makes me think, because when dieting gets tough, you probably talk about it and prep and stuff like that. You try and make your food as nice tasting as possible. I've actually outreached my food before because I was on such low calories. I was like, the food I want to enjoy. Yeah. And I can keep myself alive, but I can't. I'm no Michelin star chef. So I used to outsource it because it would taste better. So that must be a good thing, and for you that you've got that career before, you can make your food actually edible.
Yeah, it's beneficial. And I remember when I first sort of made the transition from being a chef to getting into obviously being a personal trainer at first, or a fitness instructor, if you like. I remember I thought, cool, what? That's a load of years wasted. I'd done right back to GCSE cooking. I was one of 2 lads doing the GCSE cooking, the rest were female.
Yeah,
I got forced into that group, so I was the only one who chose it. And then obviously went into catering school, got my diploma, spent years sort of building up to sous chef, which is the second in charge in the kitchen. And I thought, wow, I've just wasted 4, 5, 6 years. But once I actually started to realize actually a massive part of training and bodybuilding is your food, I thought actually it's not been wasted, because now I can make my food nice. And even though I don't necessarily have an understanding at this point of nutrition, I know how to cook food. So once I get that and establish that, you can then marry the two.
Yeah, definitely. That would be an absolute bonus, to be fair. If there was a crash course on making food edible, I'd probably go on it, mate, to be honest with you.
You guys were talking about this morning. We were saying that I could offer a service where you charge X amount, go to someone's house, cook them an a la carte dinner, So
honestly, mate, you could. One of my good friends, and for another story, but I basically, about a year and a half ago, started a food prep company with one of my friends who's a full-time chef. Okay. And he would prep everyone's food and we'd deliver it to them. And it worked really well, but COVID happened and X, Y, and Z. But even when I was on my photo shoot prep, towards the back end of it, as I mentioned, I wanted to make my food as enjoyable as possible. I'd pay him X amount of money and he'd prep all my food and bring it back to me on a Monday and a Sunday.
Yeah, that's
a game changer. Expensive, and you can make some good money from it, I can imagine. But it was worth every penny. So yeah, look into that, mate. You never know.
It's one of those sort of things that, yes, it's an additional expense, but as a coach, you know yourself, time is money.
Yeah.
So if you're able to save that time and outsource and get someone else to provide that service, then you can put that time into workload. So
100%, mate, 100%.
Up, you know.
So was there like a specific thing that you remember going from, you know what, like, I'm enjoying my training, I want to do this full time rather than the chef? Was there a moment, or was it just over time?
Well, I was always back and forth between, being completely honest with you now, my dad was the Arsenal fitness coach for like 20 years. So
Okay.
massively into fitness and more kind of the aerobic side of things. I mean, he did weight training in his younger years, but he was more into the fitness side of things. Fittest man I know. He would like outrun the Arsenal players at mid-40s. So he was obviously my inspiration. I looked up to him. I wanted to get into the fitness industry, but I was toying between being a chef and obviously going down that route.
Yeah.
And I think that the whole chef side of things, maybe certain people wanted that from me, whereas I maybe wanted to get into the training side of things. But you kind of, when you're young, you don't really know. You're torn back and forth between two different ideas. And I think as I got more and more into the chefing side of things, I realized just how much of a commitment it is. Just like any job is, if you're going to be great at something, you've got to commit yourself. Yeah. And I just realized that I wasn't passionate enough about cooking, chefing, for that to be my whole entire life. And when it got to kind of the point where I was working in a good restaurant, like an a la carte restaurant with rosettes, I just realized I don't think this is for me. So I took a bit of time away, done a little bit of traveling, and I was always into my training, and it was just a no-brainer. There was a fitness instructor role coming up at like a health club local to me. Folding towels, taking people's memberships, doing a few little classes and things like that. And I took that, and then for me, that was kind of the beginning of, this is what I want to do full time. I want to make it as a personal trainer at the time, because online coaching wasn't really a thing then.
Yeah, it wasn't, was it? At that point, I'd assume if you were in one of them sort of restaurants, sous chef, you'd been doing it a little time. Would you taken quite a massive pay cut when going to that gym instructor? Because they pay pennies, didn't they, when you go entry level into a gym? I remember it myself, but yeah, I took like $5,000 pay cut because it was what I wanted to do and knew long term it would benefit me. Was that similar to you?
Yeah, there was a bit of a cut. I don't think it was quite as severe as that, because I wasn't on a massive amount chefing, to be honest with you. I mean, to make big money in a chef, you've got to get to the top or get to the big restaurants in London and things like that. And that was obviously the end goal. But there was a bit of a drop, but I quickly made that up with PT. I was very fortunate that the place in which I went as a fitness instructor, the health club, was there for like 6 months, first 6 months of my career. We was able to do PT sessions on the side. So you'd have your standard salary. It'd be like $1,000 take home a month.
Yeah.
But then I was doing like £20 PT sessions, and I'd have like 5 or 6 of them a week. So that was making up pocket money, if you like.
Yeah.
To give me that experience as well.
Yeah, that's decent, mate. Really, really good. So kind of fast tracking through that time then, did it then just a normal transition into a kind of full PT, and then online started to come about?
Yeah, I mean, online was quite a way down the line, to be honest with you. So I started PTing when I always track back to how long me and Kirst have been together, because I got into PT pretty much immediately after we got together. It was that kind of time I transitioned. So I've been PTing for 6 years, or I had been PTing for 6 years. I didn't start online until I've been an online coach for 3 years now. So it was 3 years down the line. So to kind of fast track through the early stages of the career, I transitioned to a gym in Bury St Edmunds, which was my first gym where you basically paid rent.
Yeah.
You didn't get a salary. You had to rely on your PT. That was my first job, and there's a lot of pressure because me and Kirst had just started renting our own place. Outgoings had increased dramatically, but I had a full diary within about a month of PT clients. I was charging £30 an hour.
Nice.
So as you can imagine, from like £1,000 a month to suddenly getting into the full-time side of things, you realise, actually there's good money to be made in this.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
That was quite interesting, because I was speaking to Joe about it on a previous podcast. You kind of look back at it now, was you realizing the amount of work you was doing for the income you was getting PT in, to now, not saying that it is a different service, but online you can manage your time a lot better and have a bit more freedom, but still earn as much, if not more. Is that something that you've seen?
Are we talking now, the transition from PT into full-time online?
Yeah. So full-time online, you're just realizing that time, like you say, time is money, and you realize 100%. That.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, mate, the goal was never to be a full-time online coach. Even when the balance started going like this, I mean, obviously when I started, I was full diary PT clients, and the online business really came about. I didn't even plan it. I just started to get it. It was a case of just helping people with a meal plan, giving people advice, and someone would ask for a training plan. And then I remember an individual, a young girl, asked me for coaching 3 years ago. Can you coach me? And I said, yeah, sure. I didn't have a structure in place, so I kind of winged it at first. And this is me being completely transparent. I didn't sit down. I didn't have a business structure. I said, yes, I will coach you. I started putting together the programming and had a format and a way of doing things. And then it just kind of grown from there, the online side of things. And it was never the goal to be a full-time online coach. But as you can imagine, as the first year was slow with online, I had between 10 and 15 clients. And retention was pretty good. And then after that, once I started educating more myself and really getting into the kind of scientific side of things and learning more, putting more content out, it started to grow. And then it wasn't long before I realized, yes, you can obviously, once the online starts overtaking the PT, but you're still doing more hours in PT, it does become a no-brainer. So it wasn't a case of planning it. It just kind of happened.
100%. I'm a big believer in that, and things do happen for a reason. And now you're in a position where I think you've got quite a good work-life balance, if I'm right in saying. And I think, do you find that now that is the case, that you've got a good work-life balance, your own personal fitness has improved because of that?
Yeah.
That's what I found. And again, just briefly touching on it, is when I started my business, it was just all business, and I was catching 30-minute sessions here and there, eating on the go. And it got to a point where I was like, I'm working so much. Yes, the business is doing well, but I'm suffering because of it. And it's not a case of it's selfish to kind of take some more time for yourself, but you need to kind of lead by example, I think. And if I'm seen to be not training, eating a grenade bar en route and having no structure to my own plan, it's just going to show. So that's what I found, is that giving yourself a little bit more time actually benefits your business, because you advocate more time to your business and yourself.
100%, mate. Yeah. I mean, it's funny you say that, because before making the full-time transition into online, for like the 2 years, we just ran ourselves into the ground. I'm talking about obviously Kirsty as well. We wouldn't, I don't think we took, I think there was a year where we didn't take a day off, apart from we had like a city break in New York. And other than that, we worked every day. And, from wake up to go to bed. And sometimes I wouldn't be putting the laptop screen down to like 11, 12 p.m. And it was relentless. And I didn't make myself ill, but I got myself in a point where workload was so high, stress was so high, I was uncomfortable. I had constant neck ache. I had like this issue with my neck all the time, and I was trying to release it and get massage, and I didn't realize it was just, I was doing too much.
Yeah.
And the decision to drop PT didn't come because I thought, I can make more money online, because I'm not massively financially driven, to be honest with you. I mean, obviously it's a part of it. We shouldn't be scared to talk about it. It is a part of it.
Yeah.
You want to make money, but I'm not massive. I'm not like, I need to make more. So the decision to drop PT was more the fact that I just didn't have the time for it anymore. And it was just, I was going to do my PT clients. And obviously I dropped last year when in the midst of COVID, and PT sessions had dropped down anyway, and online was flying. So it's a perfect opportunity to do so.
Yeah.
But I was finding I was going to the gym for my PT clients and just thinking about all the things I had to do, the programs I had to write, the things I had to record, the check-ins, and it was just too much. So 100%, mate, since dropping PT, I've been a different person. Kirsty said it as well. I've just been more relaxed. We can go on like dog walks when we want. You can just plan your day, and mate, it makes a substantial difference.
100%. So business is obviously business now, moving kind of quite nicely into yourself. How's it all come about from, just going to the gym, training, being a PT, to then now stage and bodybuilding? Where's that transition come from?
So from just training to bodybuilding was never something I've ever considered getting into. To be honest,
didn't have Arnie on the wall growing up or anything?
I did. I had all of them, but I didn't. I never thought I would get into that myself, to be honest. And to be perfectly transparent with you, I never thought I could.
Yeah.
So I had a lot of self-doubt as a kid. I say as a kid, teenager, early 20s. Still a kid in my eyes. I had a lot of self-doubt. I didn't think I could do it. I was very small. I was a small lad. I was one of the smallest in my year in school. So I never thought that I could do that. And it wasn't until we had like a local show going. It was called Heath Show or something, because it was on the RAF Lake and Heath, and it was like an American Air Base show. And I was like the only English guy there. And it was advertised around our local gym, Mildenhall. And one of my mates said, you should do that. And I think that gave me the confidence of him saying, you should do that. You know, I was like, nah, really? He was like, yeah, definitely. So I prepared for the show. I prepared myself. And
no coach.
Huh?
No coach.
No coach, mate. I was uncoached for my first 5 shows.
Jesus.
I've done 7 shows. I've only had a coach for the last 2. So I've done everything wrong.
Yeah, I was gonna say I wouldn't know where to start. I don't think if I was.
Oh, mate, I depleted. I cut water 48 hours before the show and had a glass of red wine the day before and 2 days before.
Is that what Google said so?
Yeah, Google. I was, and some YouTuber. I was so dehydrated. It wasn't safe. You know,
yeah.
Couldn't get a pump. I won the show. The standard wasn't crazy high.
I was gonna say, you done well then.
Yeah, I won the show, but that just gave me. It gave me a focus, something to focus on, because the time of my first show was around about the time where I went through a bit of a life-changing phase. Something happened. Basically, I got attacked by someone. It was like a hit and run kind of thing, potentially alcohol-fueled rage. To this day, I still don't know the answer. I know the lad, but I still don't know the answer. And
still breathing, is he?
Yeah. Sorry.
Is he still breathing? Is he?
Yeah. So obviously, I can't say too much on here, but I was advised if I retaliated, I was having a motive is apparently more. You can get in a lot of trouble for that.
Sure.
I didn't want to spend my life in prison because then he's won. You know. So
yeah,
it was back and forth for about a year. I was told, you know, you got to wait to the court date. I went to court. We was trying to basically go for GBH with intent, because it was intent. It basically a vodka bottle around the face, just opened my face up completely. You know, I had like 50 stitches in my face, and you
got a couple of scars, didn't you? To be fair,
yeah, I got some more scars. Yeah.
There you go.
But to this day, I don't know what. Yeah, to this day, I don't know what the motive was. But that happened. He got away with it, so it was a very tough time, and it was basically he used the excuse that I was holding him down. He couldn't retaliate, and because they saw that I obviously trained, so he got away with it anyway. 12 random members of the public to decide someone's fate like that. The jury, I still don't get.
It's mad, isn't it?
But I laugh about it now because it was a pivotal turning point. But at the time, I was in a pretty bad way in terms of my mental health. You know, I was very anxious.
Yeah, sure.
Anxiety was very, very high. You know, I suffered anxiety, you know, quite a lot in my earlier years anyway. So that just exacerbated that. So when someone said, do this, it was kind of like a focus from a tough time, if you like, you know, it was a really tough time in my life. And I was like, yeah, actually, I think this is going to give me the focus I need. And I got stuck into it, and I stopped going out drinking, stopped going out partying and doing all that. And I hadn't really been out since, to be honest with you. For me, it was just a massive turning point in my life. I started really getting stuck into my studying. I started doing home studying, like whilst I was doing other jobs. I was learning about training and getting, you know, engrossed in that. And then obviously I won the show, went out the back, had a little cry.
Oh, no. One of them ones. Is that through raw emotion of how much effort you put into that moment, or is it just like winning? Or
it was just what it meant to me, man, because I had such little self-confidence after what happened. And it was just right, I'm going to do this. I wasn't happy with how it looked, you know, for the first 6 months. My face was like, people used to stare, and it was just a difficult time. Do you know what I mean? I had a couple of months where I hardly left my house. But yeah, so anyway, we said we wouldn't do the whole Piers Morgan thing. Anyway, so I'll pick it up from here. Yeah, so I just got stuck in. I just got stuck into bodybuilding, mate, and like people say things like, "Oh, you know, you need to get a life, etc." But honestly, mate, I didn't have a life until I found bodybuilding. It gave me a life. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. I still get that now for outsiders that don't understand, and I think since I've been so driven in terms of fitness, my circle's got smaller, and I'm actually quite thankful for it, because you kind of not realize who your true friends are or anything like that's a bit deep, but as in the people that support and understand what you're doing, they might not even understand, but just support what you're doing are the people that you want around. For the outsiders in, it's like all you do is go to the gym, and it's just so cliche and boring now. I'm like, all you do is sit around playing PlayStation. That's up to you. It's your thing, but I don't judge you for it. Do you know what I mean? And this is what I want to do. And now I've obviously taken it into a business. It's a bit more understanding for them that you kind of do live and breathe, not just the sport, but like the whole fitness and lifestyle and health kind of things. And I've taken that massively from doing what I do now.
Yeah, definitely, mate. I agree with you. Like a smaller circle doesn't necessarily mean a bad thing. You know, I used to think it did. Oh, I've lost contact with this person. This person's not interested anymore. But you know, that's just life, mate. People come and go, and the people that are important will stick around. Even if 100%. It's, you know, I've got friends now who don't understand what I do, but they're still in contact. They're still friends. They still support it. Equally, I've got people who I don't speak to anymore because they probably think I'm nuts.
Yeah.
You know, you can't spend your life worrying about that. You got to focus on what makes you happy. Ultimately.
Completely agree. And I think a lot of people have realized that over the past sort of 12 months, especially. That's the main thing. So that kind of ties us into my next question. I'm quite interested of this one. And especially talking about circle and stuff. So you mentioned Kirsty a couple of times, who's obviously your wife, and she's also very much in the bodybuilding game and coaching and stuff as well. So I think for people that don't understand what you do, or what we do, they don't really get it. But you two obviously get each other. Is there lots of perks to that, but there's probably some negative stuff to it as well, would you say?
Yeah, more positives than negatives.
Yeah, I can imagine.
I introduced her to bodybuilding, so she was like I called her like a cardio bunny when we first got together, because she has a very successful boot camp. So she's done a lot of cardiovascular work, and her main goal was just being like lean and being slim, and she's done a little bit of weight training, but our first date was in the gym, and yeah, and I got her on a squat rack.
Was that planned?
Actually, she's okay, I tell you, like, our first date we just met up for a chat, but our first going somewhere to commute into a place was the gym. And she just said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm at the gym." She's like, "I'm coming." So she came to the gym and trained. She's like that. She's spontaneous. Okay. And we got a session in. I took her for a leg session. And it was shortly after that, I was going through the whole period I talked about with the thing that happened to me. And she helped me massively with that. She was fantastic. And then I got into my first bodybuilding show, competed, won. She supported me. Then she said, "Oh, what do you reckon? Do you reckon I'd be able to do it?" And I was like, "Of course you would. Like 100%. I'll help you if you want." So I kind of essentially helped her with that, coached her to her first show. And she done a handful of shows, and, you know, she done a K in them. And then it wasn't until she went and done her own thing with the WBFF that she ended up having huge success in that. So I would say, in terms of both bodybuilding, there's more pros and cons. I think the pro is that we understand each other.
Yeah.
I have a lot of friends, and I coach a lot of individuals who they compete and the other half doesn't. And that can create a conflict, because it's a very, very selfish sport, competing. Yeah. You know, it's for X amount of time, you have to focus on yourself and how you're looking and how you're feeling, and whether you can do this and whether you can do that. And you have to say no to a lot of things, social events, you know, going for nice food. And when the other half still wants to continue living as normal, that can create a lot of conflict. And I've experienced that, not firsthand, fortunately. I'm very fortunate to have Kirsty, but I've experienced that with clients. So I think the pro is that we understand each other. And I'm on prep now, so she knows that I can't eat anything not on plan. And she understands that. And yesterday I had to go train because it was pool day. It was also Valentine's Day. But she understands I've got to go train for 3 hours. She understands that. She got a nice dinner in the evening. So I think there's more pros than cons. I said, when one's on prep and the other's not.
I was going to say, you've got that understanding, but at the same time, even just sitting down for a meal, you might have the same meal, but the portion sizes are probably completely different and things like that. Yeah. What about like competitiveness and stuff like that? Is there a healthy competition there?
Oh, you had to ask, didn't you?
Had to, mate. We'll have to get her on one day and do, the whole like Mr. and Mrs. Who's more competitive?
Yeah, we'll definitely do it. So we keep our businesses very separate, because she's very much got her side of things, and not initially, with very much when you start with very general population, but I have my niche now, she has her niche. So we keep our businesses very separate in that respect. Is there a competition? No, I don't think so. I mean, I introduced her to bodybuilding, she came along and she done better than me.
Oh, okay.
She's now a WBFF pro, and I'm trying to get my pro card. Do you know what I mean?
She remind you of that?
No, not at all. She's fantastic. She's fantastic. Like I said, there's no competition at all. And I know this is going to sound very, very cliche and very like, you know, but we literally are just each other's biggest fan. Like, we just support each other massively. I mean, she's brilliant. She just bigs me up all the time, supports me. So I would say that there's not really, to be honest with you, mate. No, there's not really.
No, that's really good, actually, mate. So obviously moving on to prep and stuff like that, because I think from the outsider in, they just see it as like the prep and the off season is like, oh, he's let himself go, he's put on a bit of body fat, but then it's all for a purpose, isn't it? Because you probably prep for what, if you're doing one show, anything from 8 to 16 weeks, depending on where you're at, right?
Yeah, I mean, we've just started a 20-week prep, but I've got a lot to pull off. So
I was going to say quickly, just I know your story, but for people that may not know, so you went on stage. When was the last time you went on stage?
British Finals, UK BFF 2017. Yeah, 2017.
So you're looking at
October.
Probably about 4 years by the time you go on again. The plans
by
to
the
go
time I go on again,
it
it'll be just shy of 4 years. Yeah.
So what was the goal or the plan over the last 4 years?
So initially it was just to get better placings in men's physique. I was a men's physique athlete. If the viewers are not unsure of that, basically board shorts, legs aren't out. It's more of like a men's model, muscular, beach, attainable look. They're still pretty rich these days, but it's meant to be more like an attainable look. So I done that for my first 6-7 shows. And then obviously my last show, I placed top 10 in the British Finals, which in the grand scheme of things isn't bad. There's about 50 competitors, but I knew I wanted more. I wanted better placings, and I'd never really taken an off season. The whole time I competed, I just done back-to-back shows, maybe like 6 months, which isn't long enough, as you know. So the goal was to take an extended period of time off, a couple of years perhaps, and just grow, just build muscle, build the physique. Halfway through that phase, I then said to my coach, my current coach, Callum, what do you think about Classic? And he said, yeah, I think we can have a good stab at it. So we continued with this growing phase, and he said, look, let's do physique next, and then we'll do Classic later on. And the growing phase just went really well, mate, to be honest with you. You know, I managed to put on a lot of muscle in a quite relatively short period of time. And we basically decided, let's just go straight into Classic, but we know we needed more tissue, mainly my legs. So we just took longer. We just took longer, mate. I never planned on this off season being like 3.5 years, but the tissue kept coming on. And sort of early to mid last year, we thought, what's the point of cutting back now when we're still laying down tissue? And obviously COVID happened. So COVID wrote off last year as well. So we ended up just spending all last year in a gaining phase. And, you know, as you said, some people don't understand. They just think, God, they'd let themselves go.
Yeah. And I guess doing it before and afters. You do your before and afters on Insta. They think they're the wrong way around or something.
Yeah, yeah. I guess in other people's eyes, I have let myself go, but it's all for a purpose.
It's all for a purpose. What's that like, both physically but mentally, like putting on weight? It's that stigma of like, yes, you know you're doing it for a purpose and you know why you're doing it, but what's it like physically and mentally?
Yeah, so being
100%. We're not talking a couple of pounds here, are we? How many pounds you put on from then to now? 70 pounds.
70 pounds, yeah. I went from like 174 kilos to like 205 kilos at my heaviest.
It's great.
It's hard, mate. I mean, it's very hard. At first, I was so tunnel vision that I don't care because the goal is so strong. I'll do it for the goal. And I would say the first sort of 40, 50 pounds, I was still in that mindset. I would say the last few months has been a bit more difficult mentally. Physically, just carrying a weight around the weight, I felt, this is nothing new. I've been pretty open and honest about this, as I always try to do. I felt pretty horrendous the last few months. Just carrying the weight around, just being out of breath all the time. I remember the worst it was walking around Abbey Gardens, me and Curtis with Oscar, and I had to stop like after 10 minutes to have a break. You know, that's not healthy. But the tissue that's come with it has been worth it. But more mentally, it's been difficult. I would say the mental side is just, and I'm very thick-skinned, and normally I'm very, very thick-skinned, and I don't care about what other people's opinion. But ultimately, other people thinking, God, fuck me, they've let themselves go a little bit.
Yeah.
Family, like people not understanding it, you know, not understanding, you know, why do you need to put on that much? You know, you need to diet, you need to lose some weight. Do you know what I mean? So I would say mentally the last few months has been a little bit more difficult, but the overriding desire to get to that end goal always wins. Do you know what I mean?
You knew that was never going to be like long term, like I'm stuck at this now over, you know, the weight that you're at or anything. It's all for a purpose, like you say. So I suppose I bet you're quite excited, aren't you, to kind of take away the layers, if you like, and see what's kind of underneath and what's been growing.
So excited, mate. I've never been so excited for a prep. I was itching. I was like, Cal, can we start prep now?
Yeah.
I won't be saying that in a few weeks, but yeah.
I was going to say, it's quite nice at the moment, because you're taking it into like Calorie Situation, you were hitting 5+, weren't you? 5,000 plus a day. To now, I suppose you don't need to pull it away too quickly to be able to start dropping, do you?
No, I mean, we're still just shy of 4,000 calories. We had a little bit of a drop before prep, just because I was suffering digestion wise. My body had just had enough. So we pulled a little bit back, pulled a bit of protein down as well. So we're floating around 4.5, and now we're sort of mid to high 3,000s. We're like 3.7 or something like that. So we pulled off like 800-900 calories in the first 2 weeks, 10 pounds off already. So
10 pounds.
Yeah, 10 pounds off, still eating, still force feeding, still feels like I'm force feeding. So it's
still a lot of calories, isn't it? It feels like less, but
yeah,
that's like a high carb day for me, like high carb day as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's all relative, isn't it? So how low will get my calories? I don't know, maybe 2,000 training day, but at that point I'll be starving hungry.
Yeah.
Whereas I've got individuals who, if I put them on 2,000, they wouldn't be able to get it all in. So it's all relative. Yeah, it's higher food, but with more muscle mass and metabolism comes more food.
Yeah, definitely. That's good to see. What's kind of like the worst meal and the best meal then on prep, or even just in general?
My best meal is pizza, man, all day.
Really?
Yeah, Domino's.
Is that in your plan, or is that like an off-plan thing?
Oh no, it's not on my plan. Did you ask on plan?
Oh, you can go with off-plan as well.
I'm just giving away everyone my off-plan meal.
There you are.
At the moment, my food is very, very. We've reined in everything. So we've encountered, like I said, we encountered a few little digestive issues over the last few weeks, and it's just going to be a byproduct of just pushing food for a long period of time. So we've had to reduce protein a little bit. So foods are very, very bland and basic. We're not adding anything right now. So now's probably not the best time to give best and worst. But normally, I would say what I'll normally do, sort of when appetite starts getting higher in a prep, I'll track a few foods here and there just to make foods a little bit more palatable.
Yeah.
So the favorite thing that I would eat, I would use my evening oats, add it with like liquid egg whites, and you can make pancakes.
No,
it's a no-brainer, mate. The macros are fantastic.
And I can't do it. I've tried it, and I can't do it. I can't do egg whites with oats. I've tried. I've even blended it.
Just a couple of egg whites, and then you mix your protein powder with it, protein pancakes, and then you put your faye, your yogurt. So you've got yogurt, and then your berries. It's low calorie, and you can use the low calorie, the sugar-free syrup.
Yeah.
It's like you got a pancake stack.
Yeah.
That's my hack.
Yeah, that's decent to be fair. Oats is probably my favorite, or cream of rice to be fair. Like a pre-workout meal is probably my favorite. The rest I can take or leave.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's probably my one to be fair.
In terms of least favorite, I don't know. I don't think there is. When you're balls deep in prep and you're starving hungry, you enjoy every meal.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. I can't cook turkey mince.
Oh, it's lovely. I just had that this morning.
The thing is, I like them, and I've had them before when they've been cooked for me. But when I cook them, they taste of nothing, no matter how much kind of I used to put like the Frank hot sauce on them and stuff. It just tastes so bland. I think it's just my cooking skills, like we mentioned before. Really,
do you season it, salt and pepper?
Yes, crap, mate. Honestly, I just can't. I can't get them down me. I've tried everything, and it's just not the one.
You might be overcooking it.
I think I am, mate.
A lot of people overcook their meat.
Definitely. One thing I wanted to ask you, and I've seen it is quite regimental with you, which is what I like as well. How much is structure playing a part in your prep and your journey?
Yeah, structure's a big part of it for me. I mean, off season, prep, whenever having a structure implemented is going to help you to be more productive. Structure is definitely something that improves when on a dieting phase. Anyone who's prepped knows that. You get regimented, your wake time, everything's very, very structured in terms of your day to day. And when structure's in place, and you've got, I have here right next to me here, I have a day-to-day to-do list, which I'll write down the night before, the tasks that I want to get done for that day. And having that structure in place, knowing when you're eating your meals, when you're doing this segment of work, helps massively. It just removes procrastination,
Yeah, I completely agree. I'm the same as you. I'll do to-do lists. Even if it's something really, really simple, like returning a call, I'll still put it on there because it's a reminder.
100%.
Anything like that. And I think growing up, I was so disorganized. It was a joke, honestly. Like, I was so bad. And I think that's why I failed in a few of my jobs that I tried to do, because you have to be really organized, and I weren't. And I remember that if I was to go do my own business, I've got to work on that. Yeah. And I started doing things like to-do lists. And plus, it's that sense of accomplishment when you tick all your to-do list off. It's almost like, right, you can kind of relax and do your own thing. And I found that as well, massively. The to-do list is something that I push, and I even push on clients as well.
Yeah,
just keep them on track. Even if it's like, drink your 4 liters of water, right? Tick, I've done that, bosh. And it just helps me no end, mate.
And everyone's to-do list is going to be different. You know, like some people's to-do list is going to be, you know, box off 10 check-ins, set up this program, write this article or whatever, post. Some people's to-do list is simply just going to be drink 3 liters, consume 100 grams of protein, go on an hour walk, read an hour of your book. So people think they have to be super, super productive. Everyone's productivity is different. You know, some people's for some people that's a very productive day, but having a structure in place to follow, there's just something about, like you said, just crossing off something on your to-do list and being like, I've done that. It's brilliant. I think you just get this little dopamine release, you know?
Yeah, it's good, man. I like it. And it almost, you can look back and go, I've actually been quite productive today.
Yep. And then when you switch off in the evening and have some chill time, you know that you've earned it, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
Like to switch off in the evening and think, I've done a lot today. Now I'm going to chill out. I'm not going to talk really about watching some Netflix. Is
that what you do to chill out? Is that your thing?
I mean, yeah. Normally, it's like we'll have a series on the go and we'll just watch an hour of it in the evening. We just got a TV in bed, which is a bad move because we've got the multi-room. So you've got all your Netflix and your Prime and everything. And it's like you watch an episode and it's like, nah, it's like 10:30. God, watch one more episode.
Yeah.
Dangerous.
That's funny you say that because, as you know, I'm in the process of buying a house.
Yeah.
And my missus, she's like, we're not having a TV in the bedroom. I'm like, that don't sit right with me, but I get it. I do get it.
Disagreement there.
I do get it. The only way I can think of it is when you go on holiday, the TV has like one channel. It's like BBC News half the time.
Yeah.
So you tend to not have the telly on, and I fall asleep so much quicker. It might be like the alcohol as well, but I fall asleep so much quicker. But just the thought of not having a TV in the bedroom, just can't deal with it. I like to just, like you say, chill out by sitting down or laying down. Like phone goes off, I always have a switch off time on my phone.
Yeah.
And like you say, put a Netflix series on. But I'm a bit bingy. I do like to get into something, and I'm like, maybe
we're
one more.
Bad at the moment, and it's like we're on series 3. We got there in like a week or 2 weeks, and it's just addictive. And normally, like I remember that back in the old days, you'd watch an episode of a series and you'd be like, damn it, I've got to wait a whole week now to watch the next episode. Well, now it's like, do you want to watch the next episode? Okay, it's on. Boom. It doesn't even give you a chance, does it? It's like, there it is. It's like
10 seconds. You're trying to find the remote, pretending you've lost it, but you're like, it's on now, isn't it?
Let's watch it.
I'm watching The Fall at the moment. You watch that?
Oh, we watch. Well, I say we. Kirsty didn't watch this. She can't watch anything which has got anything remotely scary in it. So she'll be on her iPad playing some game or something like that. But I watched The Fall. It's fantastic. Yeah,
it's
really good.
Weird. I'm only on season 2 now, and that's one of the ones that I have to turn off because I would binge that till like 4 a.m.
It's brilliant, mate. It's brilliant. But the 2 main actors are brilliant. The geezer in 50 Shades, and the woman who plays the detective. Can't remember her name.
Is it the same guy?
Yeah. Do you not know?
Fucking knew it. I was like, he looks like 50 Shades guy.
Yeah, it's him. But he's I was like, he's playing an Irish. He's playing an Irish. He does the Irish accent really well, doesn't he? And I saw an interview of him on This Morning or something, and he's Irish. So in 50 Shades, he's obviously putting on the American accent. And if you watch 50 Shades now, you get a little twang of Irish sometimes.
Yeah. I don't think I can look at it in the same way. How's he gone from that to that? I suppose there is a link there, I guess, if you think about it.
Yeah, we like the 50 Shades films. They're actually really, everyone's like, it's all about the sex, but it's not. They're actually really good films.
Yeah,
he's a good actor. That's a brilliant series, mate. The Fall.
I am enjoying it, but it's one of them ones like guilty as charged. So I'll watch one and I can't go sleep straight away. I have to put on an in-betweeners, I tell you.
What, to cheer you up?
I'll close my eyes and I'll start thinking X, Y, and Z, honestly. I can't do it. I have to walk. I have to walk to the toilet with my missus because she's too scared to go on her own.
Yeah. Or you just need to talk to him in the other room. You there? You're right. Yeah.
Or sometimes if she's like in a room, I'll do this. Just like behind the door, and she fucking shits herself. So funny.
Kill me, mate. We struggle. Sometimes we struggle to pick something because it can't be anything scary. Can't be anything creepy, like
jumpy.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
We're actually the opposite. I'm normally like that. I'm not really a fan of horrors and stuff.
Oh, really?
But I got into this one, and that's the problem. Once you're in, you're in. Yeah.
I had to like lure her in and be like, it's a drama, a psychological drama. She was like, it's a horror, isn't it?
Yeah.
I took her to the cinema before to watch. I think, have you seen Us?
Yeah.
That's a creepy one. I was like, yeah, it's a drama. We got there 10 minutes in. She was like, this ain't a drama, is it? I was like, no.
No popcorn on her head like that.
Yeah.
That's interesting, man. Okay, so just kind of going back on it then. Future plans for you. I know them, but what are your future plans?
I mean, so the ultimate goal in terms of competing is to become an IFBB pro, classic bodybuilding, classic physique. So obviously to do that, I need to compete in 2 bros. The plan of attack is to do a regional. So basically you do a regional and that qualifies you, if you like, to then do a pro qualifier. So the pro qualifier is where if you win your class, you go into the overall, and then you've got to win your overall. So against 4 or 5 other guys in different height classes, all merged into one, and you've got to beat all of those. Once you do that, you get your IFBB Pro card. So it's pretty easy.
Yeah, that sounds it, mate. So you've got to basically win. You've got to win a show to get an opportunity to win a show to go to overall to win that to get your card.
Yeah.
So in the grand scheme of things,
against the best physiques in the country. So
there's one card for probably what, 100, 200 people?
Loads of competitors. Yeah. I mean, you'll maybe get like 100 classic competitors in a regional, and then in the finals you'll get you're one in like 200-300. But you know, you've got to set your goals high. You know, there's no point me saying you know, I'm doing this because I want to place 3rd in a regional. What kind of motivation is that? You know, so the goal is IFBB Pro card. That's the overall goal from a bodybuilding perspective. In terms of the goal from a business perspective, just continue to grow the brand KC Physiques. Continue to improve my own knowledge, my own skill set, and just push that onto my own clientele. Something that I've always would like to get into in the future is educational side of things as well.
Definitely.
That'll come with time. Once I've got, you know, more years under my belt, that's something that I would like to do, you know, educate others.
Interesting, man. That's really interesting. With that in mind, obviously having long-term goals is something that I like to do and I like to push on my clients as well. But is it a case of, it's almost like I want to win the World Cup, but you need to qualify for the World Cup first kind of thing? Is it a case of just take one show at a time first with that end goal in mind? Yeah,
mate, 100%. So the goal, the thing I visualize every morning when I wake up, the thing I visualize before every set is IFBB Pro. Am I going to get that this year? I don't know. I may go all the way or I may be miles off. I really don't know. This is my first time competing in Classic with the big boys. So this year it's very much all just about seeing how I fare. You know, I may come away from this show season with judges' feedback saying, listen, you just need to work on a little bit more, you know, a little bit more hamstring, a little bit more side delt. Come back next year, you'll be in with a good chance. And for me, I'll take that as fantastic. So yeah, the overall goal is there, and I'm confident that I will achieve that goal as well. And I'm okay with saying that because I won't stop until I achieve it. That's how much it means. But am I going to get that this year? I don't know, mate. I've got to say in my head I'm going to, but I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, that's good. You got to be a realist at the same time, haven't you? You got to just take one thing at a time and not be disappointed if it doesn't come now, because it might come next year, like you say, and that's the best way to look at it. But you still have to have that driving force that it can be achievable this year. Yeah. So why 100%. Not? I know it's possible. So yeah, we just got to put everything into it and see what happens.
Brilliant, mate. So we're how many weeks away from a show? Subject to everything going well?
So the show, we decided to push the show back a little bit just because of those digestive issues, which are much better now. So we're now 20 weeks out. It's due July the 6th. So it's about 20 weeks out.
And you're going to document that as much as you can?
Yeah, so I'm looking to start, I've got a videographer sorted to do a video per week, which was meant to start at 16 weeks out. Hopefully we can still start that 16 weeks out. That's in like 3-4 weeks. We'll see.
We'll see.
Boris.
Come on, Boris. 1 week.
Yeah. If not, I will start it as soon as we're allowed back in the gym. But I will probably do just like a vlog style thing that I've been doing in the off season, just meals, day-to-day, stuff like that before we get in the gym, just so we can kickstart it.
Definitely. Plug away then. Where will they be able to see it?
I'm on YouTube, so Kieran Colbert. I'll be dropping a video a week on there. So yeah, if you're not already viewing it or following it, drop us a follow. If you like it, if you don't like it,
subscribe, isn't it?
Huh?
Subscribe,
not follow. Subscribe, isn't it? This is how amateur I am in the YouTube.
I know. I'm the same, honestly.
It's not. Listen, I done my YouTube not to try and take over the world or anything like that. I've got like 160 followers, but it's subscribers. It's more just a platform where I can just document things for people who are interested, and I can put out educational content and things like that. It's just another platform.
100%, mate. I'm the same. I don't even think I've got that many subscribers, to be fair. But like you say, it's a document for you to look back on, but also people to view as well, which is great. More like Instagram.
Kieran Colbert.
Nice and jazzy.
That's
straight to the point. Bosh.
Is that is my Instagram, isn't it? Just Kieran Colbert, or is it?
I'm meant to know. It's your Instagram.
Yeah, it's just Kieran _. I'm pretty sure it's just Kieran _Colbert. Let me just make sure I get.
I think you might be right. Underscore, yeah.
Yeah, Kieran _Colbert, and that's me.
I'll tag away. Don't worry. But thanks very much for coming on, mate. I'm really, I felt like I learned a lot about you, and hopefully other people have. Yeah, and we will catch up again soon, and possibly, get you on, maybe showing us a little card or something in the future.
Oh, I hope so, mate. Yeah.
Is it an actual card you get? Is it like something you put in your wallet, or is it just a name?
So with ToDo, you actually get a sword. A sword, like a real sword.
A legal sword.
Yeah, I want a sword, man. That's what I'm after. I want a sword. But you do get a pro card as well. It's like a big old card, and it says like IFBB Pro. So.
Ledge. Okay, sweet. So, mate. All the best for your prep.
Thanks, buddy.
Keep as happy as you can over the next 20 weeks, and we'll catch up soon.
Okay, man. Cool.
So, man, buddy. Take care.
Cheers.